Mississippi State and Baylor are going to get things started on Friday in the NCAA tournament. The first game of the day, 12:15 Eastern tip on big CBS. I'll be at the game in Raleigh. Very excited for that because this is a pretty even matchup. I think two teams that can be exciting, two teams that are flawed, but two real stars. And Josh Hubbard for Mississippi State, BJ Edgecombe for Baylor. I think this game's pretty much a toss-up, Dion. So what's one thing that could swing it in one direction or the other? What are you going to be watching in this game?
Valdez Edgecombe Jr. Simple as that. Love Mississippi State. They had a fun season. If Valdez Edgecombe Jr. is VJ, they will win this game. But if he's Valdez, Mississippi State will win this game. So that's where I'm at with that. That's a legit NBA dude. I will say, we're kind of in NBA draft pundit season, as I like to call it. Also, like I would take VJ over Dylan and Ace. Like, let's settle down. Let's maybe slow down just a little bit. But if he looks like the guy people would take over Dylan and Ace, I don't think Mississippi State stands a chance. But if he looks human, I really like the idea of Mississippi State getting really gritty and kind of giving Baylor a taste of maybe their own medicine from the championship Scott Drew team.
Yeah, do you remember over the summer when Edgecombe was playing for the Bahamas and everybody was like, "Oh, maybe he's better than Cooper Flag."
Yeah. He was also like just so like we're all on like the same page about that Bahamas team. We thought VJ might be better than Cooper Flag because he was second fiddle to Buddy Hield on that Bahamas team. And DeAndre Ayton. Like there's a
I
moment where we kind of gotta look in the mirror at ourselves.
I am not saying that he is or that I
No,
thought he
no.
was or that I thought he was at one point. That was a conversation people were having because of how well he was playing against professional players.
No, I'm not saying you did. I just mean
Yeah,
like the people that were, it's
I'm
like
I'm just clearing it up because I do not want my name associated with anything ever down in Cooper Flag. Okay, I do not want that. That will not be good for me. He
that
his emergence back to being a star after really struggling the first month or two of the season has been key for Baylor. Um, Also, the fact Norchad Omier has gotten back to being just a double-double machine has been great because this team has no size. And Dion, that's a concern of mine because Mississippi State, we called them like Texas A&M light or great value brand Texas A&M because they have all those big physical guys that crash the glass. They just don't do it as effectively or as efficiently as Texas A&M does. Do you think that could play in Mississippi State's hands in this one if Baylor isn't able to hold their own on the boards?
I think that's why you need VJ to be VJ, where it's like he's the key to you being able to get up and down the court and kind of eliminating some of that grittiness from Mississippi State. But if you're kind of lacking from VJ or even like a Jeremy Roach perspective, then yeah, I think a lot of what Mississippi State does causes a ton of issues for a team like Baylor.
Yeah, I
Or
think that's
excuse
fair.
me. Wait, no, yeah, for a team
Yeah,
like I'm
yeah,
sorry, it's
yeah.
late, guy. Late.
Now we did a lot of SEC previews, talked a lot about Mississippi State this season, and we love Josh Hubbard. We question a lot how can if he gets consistent help from his teammates because he really doesn't. Riley Kugel and RJ Melendez have to play well.
Yeah.
Those are the two guys we pointed to because those are the two who have flashed really high level play, but they've also flashed the ability to put up those trillion box scores and just get some good cardio in.
Josh Hubbard is Wade Taylor with no help.
You know what? I don't hate that. I think he's a smarter. I think he's a takes smarter shots, but I don't hate that overall.
I think if you gave him more help, he wouldn't do some of the stuff Wade does. But without help, he's just Wade Taylor.
Well, they kind of need him to be because who else are you gonna have shooting those shots?
Yeah, no, they don't have they literally don't have a choice but for him to be Wade Taylor, which that's more of a shot at Wade than it is Josh Hubbard, by the way. But deep down, I'm a Wade Taylor guy through and through. Yeah, I honestly like Mississippi State in this game, but I'm choosing every SEC team. You know, Ralph and I went into the season and said we're going to be the G and card of the SEC. Ralph's decided to choose against the SEC, so I can't do that.
Dion, this is the sheet of integrity. This is not the sheet of the SEC. Okay. I have to stay true to what I think is going to happen. And there is a world outside of the South, except for in the fall when it's football season. Then it's SEC time. Okay. Right now, there's another world out there. I'm going to pick Mississippi State as well, though.
Okay.
Ken Palm's got Baylor winning this game by one. I think it's going to be very close as well. But I do think Mississippi State's size advantage is going to play a big factor. I think they can really work the glass. Baylor has not been good away from home this year, like at all.
How
They're
they
going on the
doing?
they're going on the road now. I don't throw this around. I think Baylor's soft.
Well, I agree with that. I just checked how they did on neutrals though. They're 3-0 or 3-1. They lost to Tech.
How are they in road games?
Not good. But I mean, they beat Arkansas by 5 on a neutral, St. John's by 1, and then they went 1-1 in the Big 12 tournament. I don't like this Baylor team though. I think you're right. They're super soft.
Yeah.
This is not Scott Drew's Baylor. This is not
No,
Scott.
they perimeter defense is atrocious. I watch them, and oftentimes it seems like their guards are running on like 1.5 speed. Like you listen to a podcast on like 1.5 speed or 2 times speed, and it just sounds like mice are talking.
Hmm.
I feel like that's how they play sometimes because they're just trying to do everything all at once, and the end result is often a wild shot or a pass thrown out of bounds.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
No, I don't like this team. I don't. I've grown accustomed to watching Baylor play a specific brand of basketball.
Yeah,
This team doesn't do
no.
that, and I'm not okay with it. So I'm gonna need Scott Drew to fix it.
How many points does Mississippi State win by?
I think Mississippi State wins by 4. I would have it like 71-67.
Yeah, I think that's a good range. I think I say this about a lot of close games, but 1 to 2 possessions, maybe a little bit more with free throws at the end, but I think this will be close. I think Mississippi State, though, gets things in on the end.